Alright, everybody. Hello once again. My name is still Double Double, and we're ready to get Metroid Fusion 80% memory corruption on the way, run by Destructor, with additional commentary provided by Rasu. So, take it away.
All right. Well, this is Metroid Fusion, the prequel to Metroid Dread. I don't know. I don't know how to describe the game. It's Metroid Fusion, run by my favorite French fusion fast boy Destructor.
May as well
the
just
number one,
instantly.
number one speed train conductor Destructor. Well,
All right.
anyway, I'll describe the category here. This is any percent memory corruption. So, as the name category suggests, this is a major glitch category. Therefore, it'd be a much shorter category than your usual any percent or 100%. But I think we're ready.
I'm ready to go whenever. I guess we can
Oh,
do a little
all right.
countdown.
Sure.
All right, I'll let you do it.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do it.
All right. Is the organizer ready? I don't know.
Is the screen share good for you at least?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys are good. Good to start. Tech is ready. So, count us down whenever.
Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, it's my favorite Metroid series character, Adam, talking to us, saying that there's something going on in the space station, and we gotta investigate. So we'll do just that. Destructor pulling off some very fancy wall jump tricks here to climb up to the room. We call that the climb.
Usually you will also see most speedruns of Fusion being played on Japanese simply because of all the text that there is through the game. But the Japanese version, as it actually came out after the American and European one, some patches have been made, and it's impossible to clip through walls and go out of bounds. So, because we need to go out of bounds to use the major glitch to create the memory corruption, we have to play this category on English.
That's right. Unless there are any smart people out there who know how to go out of bounds on Japanese.
Yeah, that would help.
Let us know. It would make the run maybe 2 minutes faster. On average, the comparison between Japanese to English RTA, Japanese will be roughly 3 minutes faster on texts. However, with the recent out of bounds fines, English has kind of shortened that gap a little bit, with certain out of bounds happening in various sectors. But we're not going to see most of that. We're going to see the one that we need to see to complete the memory corruption.
Yeah, in this category, there's pretty much only one out of bound that we can do that saves time. It's at the end of Sector 2, but it is kind of dumb to do, and it saves only 2 seconds. The other two major out of bounds that we can do save a lot more time, like
Right.
15 seconds and 8 seconds each, but they are after the memory corruption, so you would see them in an 80% run that you would play on English, or a category like 0%, but not here.
That's right, and 0% also takes advantage of the out of bounds to skip an otherwise very difficult missile pickup to skip on Japanese. With that being said, if you can do that skip on Japanese, you're guaranteed a world record.
That is true.
It's that hard. I think you have 7 frames of leeway.
7 frames of leeway over 7 seconds of actual, like, in-game movement, I think.
Yep. And if you're slow by over 7 frames, then you can't get the trick. So it's very hard. Alright, so we just picked up the missile expansion here, and good old Adam told us that the elevator's not working, so punch some holes in the wall and see if you can find another way out. And it looks like we're going to be using the ventilation system to get out. Or is this a access shaft or something? Coming up here is the first eye door of the game. Destructor is going to try and attempt a really cool trick called the double, where he puts 2 missiles inside the eye door, and he did it. Very nicely done. Eye door gives us the RNG factor of shooting between 0 to 4 beams per cycle, and Destructor got 1 beam out of 2 cycles, so that's very good. Poor Arachnus, he was much better in Metroid 2. And now he's just a spam DPS boss. What do you call it? You just put as much missiles in him as you can.
Pretty much. There's only one thing that could go somewhat wrong, is that if Arachnus decides to roll instead of sending those waves of energy your way, which loses about 5 seconds.
Hey, he's just trying to give you his energy.
I mean, I killed him for that.
Take my energy, but don't kill me.
Fusion speedrun is mostly rhythm by all these boss fights that you can have, and especially all the optimizations that you can do, specifically when you get towards the core phase of the fight with the core X that contains the item that the boss keeps. You can put 2 missiles at the same time on the core, because even though the sprite of the core X is a circle, the actual hitbox is a square, which means that you can line up 2 missiles, and every single time you hit the core, there are some invincibility frames where you see the core just blinking, and you cannot hit the core for like 2 or 3 seconds. So naturally, getting 2 missiles instead of 1 each cycle saves quite a bunch of time.
That's right. Oh, this is the OG Samus.
This is the robot in the last game, right? Those you know, those things that crawl. Oh wait, no, wrong game.
I don't. If you're talking about Dread, I don't know.
So Rasu123 is going to have to be very careful with these missiles. Proceeds to shoot missiles in walls.
Yep. Sector 1 is a ammo management sector early game. Having 20 missiles here, you'll need a little more than 20 missiles to get through the entire sector. So making sure that your health is full always will guarantee missile drops from the enemies. Fortunately, it's a pretty simple sector. There's only one room where things might not go your way, and that's the descent in the pirate room, where a 4th pirate might jump across and hit you, and you'll have to assess your ammo if it does hit you, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Oh, fancy movement there. And this is the room in question.
Oh.
It's okay, you picked up extra green X's that he wasn't supposed to.
Took a little bit of time because of having to morph mid-air, but it's fine. I just wanted to play it mostly safe.
Yeah. So the Destructor is kind of out of the woods now in terms of ammo management here, and he should be all right.
Yeah, I have more than enough.
This is how we change the air filters in BSL space station.
You just blow them up with missiles. Whenever something is old, don't actually repair it, just blow it up and change it for later. It's fine.
I would like to be the janitor that cleans the air filters. Once a month, alright, let me get my missile launcher.
One more Idor coming up, gonna try to get another double. Because these Idors take 3 missiles to be destroyed.
Yep. And this is arguably the hardest Idor to get through optimally. Because of the very cramped space. Oh, he thinks here.
Ah.
Oh. So we'll have to do a 3 cycle.
Rare miss. It happens. Oh no. Oh! Jeez.
Oh no, that was a tank. So
Not a single
Destructor, yeah. Yeah, Destructor was attempting to do some horizontal doubles on the core, similar to what he does to the doors. There are also vertical downward doubles for these specific cores. I guess are a little bit easier to do, but those require very specific positioning.
Yeah, usually I just do the setup for this specific core fight. The thing that we need to talk about these cores is that these are beam cores, and the only part of the hitbox that you can deal damage to is the eye, so we cannot really do the same kind of doubles that we do on other bosses. And for this one, the setup I do is just I do a horizontal double, then elevate myself with the platforms, and go for a downwards doubles, which is pretty easy to do as long as you get the opening double, and I didn't get it here, so kind of flopped the rest of the setup, but that's fine.
Alright, we cleaned up Sector 1. All of the atmospheric stabilizers are now online. And as you can see, the entire sector is a little clearer now. One thing I like about Fusion is the attention to detail of like what you're doing and how it affects the station afterwards. And there's a save here. Destructor is playing it safe, or the okay, I'll let you in on the secret. The safe.
So
Go ahead. Destructor will describe it.
we do a save here to manipulate like the way the game is like I think the RAM of the game, just to prepare for the memory corruption later on. We use this save specifically. Once we'll do the memory corruption, it will allow us to respawn right at the end of the game. Pretty much when we will do the memory corruption, we will do actions that will create 2 things. The first one is to make us respawn in like the very first hallway of the game, literally the second room of the game, right after the room of the ship, in that long hallway. And then the second thing we'll do is activate the flag that corresponds to the Omega Metroid's death. So pretty much we're just gonna respawn in that hallway, do a few back and forth between the room, and once we come back, Omega Metroid will just die. We could save somewhere else and like do those things a bit different, and it will still trigger Omega's death, but that save allows us to respawn close to the ship, so that's why we do it. There are also a few blocks that we'll need to destroy in Sector 4 to set up the RAM of the game to very specific values, and yeah, a few extra blocks that you have to destroy that usually you wouldn't get to those blocks in any percent, you would get to them in 100%. So a very, very small detour, maybe like 6-7 seconds. But
But
it
is
is
it a
necessary.
detour if you have to do it?
Exactly, yeah, it's not really a detour if you have to. Yeah, also, we got the charge beam, so I think I'll let you explain why charge beam in this game is absolutely broken.
Yeah, I don't know much about Dread, but in the entire Metroid series, the Metroid Fusion Charge Beam is the most OP Charge Beam. First of all, it does massive damage in 3 parts, and it also upgrades your beam. If you noticed earlier, before he got the Charge Beam, his beam was like a 1-pixel pea shooter, something that you see from like Super Metroid or whatever, or Metroid Zero Mission. Now he has a little bit wider beam that comes in 2 parts, and not only that, the flare of the charge beam you see when Destructor is holding it actually does damage too, which is very useful for Idors. Now Idors are only 1 shot, and also useful for a boss coming up, the second boss coming up. So I would say out of all the Metroid games, this charge beam must be the most OP one.
I would say that too, and since I've played Dread, I guess Dread's charge isn't that impressive. What's broken in Dread is the fact that there is no cooldown on the beam. Like, if you can mash 60 frames per second, when you will shoot 60 frames per second.
Oh. The power of a next generation console.
The power of breaking your hand, yeah.
And speaking of limitations, if you've noticed, Samus can only shoot 2 missiles, or have only 2 missiles on screen at any time, and that includes a falling missile from a Tink.
Which can be very annoying sometimes, especially
Yeah.
like in the boss fight with the charge core I did earlier. I did have a few struggles specifically because I couldn't go for another double, as 1 missile was still falling down from a tank.
I wonder why the missile would fall after a Tink. Did it like hit the core on the side of the missile and not the front?
Maybe, I don't know, something didn't trigger the explosion.
I mean, it still hit the front, right? It still has to blow up. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a military expert. I don't really know how weapons work, especially such futuristic weapons. That parachute must be a very high tech.
Maybe it's like a recycle missile. If you didn't hit it properly, then you can just pick it up later.
That could work. Just make sure it doesn't blow up in your hand. But I mean, Samus stores her missiles literally in her suit, so I don't think she worries too much about that.
Yeah, I don't know where she's hiding 20 missiles in her suit.
Let alone 64 power bombs.
And this is Zazabi, one of the worst bosses to have in terms of RNG. He can jump anywhere between 3 to 12 times.
And here I think
Obviously,
I got 4. So that was very nice.
Nice. Yeah, that was a very nice fight. Obviously, the fewer jumps, the better. Very nice double there to open the fight of the core. A nice double. And the sweat spot.
So here we're going to have our first encounter with the SAX. That in a normal run I would skip it. So I could do something. I could do a save state right before. Usually, if it was an 80% run, I would save right here for marathon purposes. But remember, I saved earlier, so I cannot use another save. I cannot save one more time. So unfortunately, you know what? I'll do a save state.
All right. Oh, easy.
Easy every time. I didn't do a save state.
No. That was it's not as hard as you think when you do it with a normalized standard or a normalized way, but it's so tense. Because if you mess up at any point, you're going to die or have 1 HP left, and you'll be going into a room with electrified water with 1 HP. it's just the fact that it's very tense that makes a lot of runners kind of mess it up and lose 20 minutes of their run.
Pretty much. In 100%, we have a lot more health. Like we have 499 health at this point, so we can use another setup in which SAX just freezes us and then shoots a super missile and just doesn't do anything. So we can just run through SAX and it never really chases us. But here we don't have as much health, so we have to just bounce around using the spring ball that we acquired, as well as the high jump by killing Zazabi. And yeah, just like Ross explained, the setup works really well, but it is quite tight, so if you're off by a few frames or not really do the proper movement, you're just going to die.
Yep, SAX will hit you for 300 damage, I think.
An Ice Beam is 200 damage, but it will not kill you. It will leave you at 1 HP.
Yeah.
If you're at full health, I think. Or I don't know if you need to be at full health to be left at 1 HP. But in this specific case, we go from 199 to 1 HP. And since we're this close to SAX, we just cannot escape.
Yeah, and SAX loves to follow up with a super missile. I mean, if you have a really good reaction after getting frozen, you could dodge the super missile, but it's very fast.
It is possible if you're very far away from SAX, just like it can happen in 100%, but not in that specific version of the skip. Because if you get frozen, except if you miss up the little spring ball that we do in the end, if you get frozen here, maybe you can have enough time to unfreeze and then dodge the super. But if you get frozen point blank, you're just never gonna unfreeze on time to dodge the super.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could at least show it without having to cheat. So here I'm gonna destroy. See this this entire wall that was like two horizontal blocks for three verticals. Usually we just destroy blocks 2 and 2, but here I had to destroy all 6 to set up for the memory corruption. It's part of the few blocks that we need to destroy. We don't lose any time breaking these because we can just break them all pretty much at the same time. It's coming up after the next boss, the few missile blocks that we need to blow up to set up the memory corruption. Or rather, set up the RAM properly.
The boss is already dead.
Yeah, I'm this good.
Oh.
Didn't even see it.
And if you've been following the story, I don't think it's spoilers anymore at this point, but the X-Parasite had already killed the boss and became the boss. So you're fighting a clone of the boss, basically. Very nice patterns here for the 2-cycle. And Destructor utilizing the flare of that charge beam, like I mentioned earlier, to make the 2-cycle possible. Very nice double-double. Basically perfect fight.
Pretty much a perfect fight, yeah. The only thing that could have been a little bit better was the sweet spot. We refer to sweet spot as the place in which the item became obtainable. Here it took a bit of time, wiggle just back and forth a little bit. But it's fine, it's like half second to a second, so pretty much the fight was perfect. And here comes the little detour that we wouldn't do in a normal in-person run. Just gonna go here and blow up these 2 missile blocks up there, and there we go. The RAM is set up properly. Now all we need to do is a way to go out of bounds, as well as activate power bombs to corrupt the game. So now we're just waiting to get power bombs pretty much.
Yep, so Destructor will be following the any % route up until the point where he gets ice missiles.
Now we can do a few cool tricks now that we have the speed booster. Hopefully I can get low height. Nice.
Nice, very nice.
So what happens there is that I unmorphed and activated the spark like right before Samus's feet touched the floor. What happens is that if you activate a shine spark, which is pretty much the technique that you can use with the speed booster, when you just crouch as Samus is running at full speed with the speed booster, you can store that speed and then release it as you press the jump button standing still and just dash in any direction, which is called a shine spark. But when you do it, Samus's feet get off the floor a little bit, so you gained a little bit of height. You just spark over the floor in some way. And here, I activated the spark mid-air right before touching the floor, which allowed me to spark through that hallway at the bottom of the, bottom of the sector, which saves about 2 to 3 seconds. Always very nice to get, very cool. And yeah, I would have not been able to get it if I just activated the spark from the ground. Like right here, you see I'm elevated just a little bit as I get off the navigation room, and that would have made me bonk my head before entering that hallway at the bottom.
Yeah, unfortunately, you only see it once in this run.
Indeed.
But coming up here in Sector 3, Destructor could try for a frame-perfect Shine Spark store.
I don't really do it. I think it's
Okay.
like I think it only saves like half a second, and I'm not really good at getting it without the pause buffer, so I'm not gonna try. I think if I was to try it, I would probably start the spark too early and not even break the blocks, knowing myself. It's been so long since I did it, but it really barely saves any time. Oh wait, you were talking about... Oh yeah, the one as we enter the first room, Sector 3. I thought you were talking about the one right before the big vertical shaft.
Oh no, this one coming up here.
Oh, this one is even more stupid.
Yeah, it's possible in Metroid Fusion to store the Shine Spark while falling. So if Samus runs off a ledge, she still has the speed booster animation going on, or the speed booster effect. If you press down at the same frame that Samus's front foot touches the ground, you can store Shine Spark, but it's very hard because you know, Samus is fast and she's falling fast, so you have to pay attention to it. And it can only be done while Samus is not in a spin jump animation.
I almost want to skip Bob just for the swag. I don't know, I'm not gonna do it. I've been playing 0% lately, so...
Oh.
So here comes the quote-unquote unskippable missile, which we very effectively named Bob.
And the Destructor is picking up his super missiles.
Hell yeah.
Very, very nice data spark there. Very nice speed run tech. Saves you not much time, but it still saves time, and it's swag. Wait, something saves time and is swaggy?
You want to do it.
That. Yep. They usually don't go hand in hand.
Ugh. Not great. It's fine.
And what you just saw there was Box. His name is actually Box. I forgot what it stood for, but it's an acronym for something. And just like that, Sector 3 is done, and we'll be leaving.
So just a little fun fact that is going to be fun for absolutely everyone besides me. So you see how when we enter Sector 3, we just, you know, fall through the right side and then we run left to go to the security room? In my PB, I brain farted during the fall, and I went to the right side. And I instantly noticed. So I just turned back, but it was still 2 extra door transitions, which costed me about 3 to 4 seconds. In that same run, I ended up beating my PB and get a new PB of 50 minutes and 1 second. My goal was to get sub 50. TLDR, brain farting and going to the right side, which is something I've never ever done in my life since I've been running this game for 5 to 6 years, just costed me the goal I fixed myself. So now every single time I enter Sector 3, you can bet that this event comes back in my mind and I am never going right again.
Don't do it.
Yep, it's something that really pisses me off. It's such a stupid way to just kill the goal that you fixed yourself. I could be done with this category and have a 49 5x, but I'm still at 50.01 now.
We have a Destructor coming up here on Sector 6, arguably the worst sector in the game due to the enemies and their positioning and the RNG involved with that. The enemies here are very annoying, to say the least, both going into and leaving Sector 6. And it just costs a lot of time when you get really bad RNG for them. So enemies can spawn in 2 different locations when you enter a room, and they can move in 2 different directions. So you kind of get them a mix of RNG on that. However, there's a certain enemy here that can move in 4 different directions, which is the most painful part of their positioning. And you'll see it here after Destructor gets the various suits.
So you may have seen me jump through a few doors right before. It's something that we call a door fix. Pretty much the animation of the door while we wait to transition... Oh, little bonk there. To transition to the next room. The door sometimes just scrolls up or down, and it's something that loses a bit of time. But if we jump through the door, like high or lower or something, we can somewhat force that animation to already put itself on the next room level, so it saves a little bit of time. Even though we lose time by jumping and having to wait to fall down to the ground, the fact that the animation is shorter because we fixed the door saves more time. It's counted in frames, but I mean, save the frames, I am dead.
Escape!
Bro, what? That was not the plan.
We should be good here.
We are fine. This stream is handled by professionals. Let's pretend like nothing happened.
We were just talking about the ice beam and how it will bring you down to 1 HP, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, the theme of being frozen in Metroid Fusion is that freezing anything will not outright kill. So once Destructor has the ice missiles, and we won't see it much in this category, enemies now become a 2-shot instead of a 1-shot, because the ice missile will still freeze the enemy before killing it.
So I just want to point out that Sax chase, really what should have happened is that I just shoot SAX in the back, which is going to make it just jump down in the location I was, and we can just skip it that way. But here, I don't really know what I did. I think I jumped too high, and then she spotted me and then froze me. I have no idea how I'm alive, and that would have been a huge disaster because, well, remember, the last save I have is in Sector 1. Oh, come on.
And here's the puffer, the enemy I was talking about, that causes a lot of problems in terms of enemy positioning here and the RNG associated. Like, these guys get in the way, and it's annoying. Alright, Sector 6 was easy. SAX was easy. We're
Yep.
out of here.
No problem. I guess that's the compensation for the sack skip that wasn't supposed to happen in Sector 2. That should have never been this close. That was an actual fail.
SAX said, remember me?
Don't you dare skip on my face yet again when you've not planned to, kid.
Now that we have the beautiful Varia suit in the beautiful colors, we're going into the ice room. Previously, you would not be able to get into Sector 5 because of the coldness of it, and it would just damage you as if it was a heated room. But now that we have Varia suit, we'll be all right.
Also, Varia suit makes it that the SIX cannot freeze us anymore, since, well, we just cannot be frozen. But,
Yep.
so that's what I was wondering about. You know, we cannot be one-shot by the ice beam. We stay at 1 HP. Very glad for that. But I don't think you survive to 1 HP now with the Varia suit. So you cannot be frozen, but since the ice beam does 200 damage and we have the Varia suit, well, I'm gonna be dead regardless, so that doesn't really save me at all.
So this is where you would take damage if you did not have Varia suit. I mentioned this before a very long time ago. I think that Fusion is the first game, maybe, question mark, to feature an ice environment where Varia is the is what saves you. You know how you have hell runs and stuff. This is like ice runs. You have ice runs.
I guess that's the same for Prime and Fusion came out at the same time, so technically they're both the first game to feature a cold area in which you need Varia. I don't know, can you access Tendrana's drifts without Varia in Prime? I don't know, I've not played the game enough to know.
I've never played Prime before.
I know that since both games came out at the same time and you have cold areas in Prime, I guess they were both the first games at the same time to feature that. Oops. On my way to get those ice missiles.
All right. Ice missile get. And now enemies can no longer be one shot with missiles at least. People refer to the ice missile as a side grade due to its decrease in DPS.
One thing that we could mention as well is that every single time we get a missile upgrade, the cooldown between each shot becomes a little longer, which makes getting double missiles on the X cores a little bit tougher.
Yep.
Very nice escape so far.
Oh, what's that in the background?
I
It's
don't know.
okay.
I don't think we'll know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We will.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen the end of this game.
I think we'll just leave. There's a shadow in the background and their lights are flashing red.
Yep. That doesn't sound very good to me. Emergency in Sector 3. Well, that happens. And it seems like the SIX very disappointed that I couldn't, that I was still able to escape despite being frozen, and at 1 HP decided to just hack into the main boiler and try and make the entire station explode. SIX is just that mad that I managed to escape. So now pretty much of a little bit of one of these timer sequence that you have in Metroid games. This one, not really a worry. I'm gonna make use of that freshly acquired ice missile to move through the different areas.
And instead of going up, now we are going down.
Oops.
I just want to know why why the control panel for the main boiler is behind some lava.
That's
Or acid.
this is a very good question, honestly. Oh lord. This sequence is not going very well so far. I'm also quite low on missiles. I'm gonna have to skip those enemies by jumping over them. Usually I would try and freeze them.
Just enough missiles. And zero beam, nice.
Had to compensate and just decide to jump over a few enemies instead of freezing them to save my missiles. Nice.
Very nice double-double. And as you saw, the parasites have the ability to clone people and be as smart as the people that they clone. I just want to know why that scientist is holding wide beam.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense now that I think about it, because bosses, pretty much all the bosses are just copies, and the ex-parasites have taken control of them, so naturally they hold a unique ability, but here it's just a scientist holding wide beam. So yeah, that's a bit of a mystery, not gonna lie. I love that.
Very nice, yeah, very nice platforming here. Nice climb. Making very good use of the ice beam and the ability to make platforms out of enemies.
Also, we haven't talked about the shot cancel, which is something I do every single time you see me shoot a beam after a spin jump when I get up to the level of a platform. It's simply to just cancel the spin at the right time, and if you do it the proper way, Samus is just straight up gonna start running her running animation, so you don't really lose too much time by waiting for her to land as you get up to the level of the platform. Something that is used throughout the entire game, even in the very first room, where you do the climb and all these wall jumps.
Yep.
Small details, but 2D Metroids are all about room optimization, and usually the smallest of things are the one that happens absolutely everywhere and save the most time.
Oh.
Bit too high of a jump there.
Oh, so where are we at now for save or kill the animals? Oh, save at infinity dollars.
Oh,
okay.
hell yeah, we're saving the animals, chat. You guys donated infinity dollars to save the animals.
Unfortunately, we can't kill the animals as much as I'd like to. Animals are also one of the worst sources of RNG for this game, and there's just really nothing you can do about it but wait. Sometimes you can wait forever.
Terrible. They're not that terrible.
Yeah, they're not, but I mean, at least...
The fact that they're a source of RNG is annoying by itself, but they're not this horrible. Oh hey, if only I got that strategy in my PB, that would have been sub 50. Hell yeah.
Or if you just went left and not right.
Yeah, that too. Or if I, Box's room, it took me like 2 or 3 tries to actually get out. I kept falling down.
Oh no.
Alright, here are the little animals. Very fun, okay, not fun thing. The old text box that said lock, disabled, and everything. This text box can disappear by itself if you don't press any button, but you can also just make it disappear faster by just pressing a button. It doesn't change anything, but if you make it disappear by pressing a button at the exact same time it's also supposed to disappear by itself, you're gonna soft lock. This is one of the stupidest soft locks in the game, and it's just... if you don't know it, well, you're gonna be in for a fun time if it happens to you.
Alright, so we have just one more major to pick up here.
The almighty whooshers.
That form is too weak for battle, Adam said. Adam's my favorite. I mean...
You guys are weak, you're just food.
You humans. Takes me back to the that one Dragon Ball episode where they go to Earth and they see the farmer with the shotgun.
Oh yeah,
it's power level 1 or something like that.
If we ever get an invasion of X parasites on Earth, we know that we're food. Well, we're getting close to the end of the round now, actually. Only a few minutes left.
Yep, and Destructor will now be going to Sector 5 once again to pick up his power bombs, which is the last thing he needs to start the memory corruption process.
I think I'll start to explain a little bit already. So I don't exactly know how it works. I haven't done my research. I'm a very bad person, I know. But pretty much when we drop power bombs out of bounds, we're gonna modify some RAM addresses, I think, in the memory of the game. And like I said, we're gonna use that to, 1, create pretty much a warp or other save point to make sure that we respawn close to the ship, and 2, activate the flag that corresponds to the Omega Metroid's death, which is the thing that triggers the end of the game. And for that, I am going to freeze an enemy and then kill it as I'm stuck inside of a corner, which is going to push me out of bounds. And then, by morphing and using the spring ball when you're out of bounds, since you're pretty much stuck inside of a block, you can spring ball very quickly, and you can move very quickly through the walls. And from time to time, I am going to see the sprite of the morph ball appear on screen, and these will be my cues to drop the power bombs at certain times. I will drop a power bomb right before the 4th time the ball appears on screen, and right before the 12th time the ball appears on screen. Then, after it appears for the 16th time, I am going to change the direction that I'm pressing to then come back inbounds to get myself killed by an enemy, which is going to make me respawn towards the end of the game.
Sounds fun.
Also right here, I would like to not pick up any energy. Very good thing I just managed to freeze that blue X, which would have given me more health. Since we want to die as fast as possible, we don't really want to collect this much health, but I'm almost at full health already. It's fine. And now we can start. So I'm going to focus a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to manipulate that waver a little bit, taking damage as I'm manipulating it. Freezing it to the top, and then I'm setting myself up. And now I'm going to be pushed out of bounds. And we can start. So now I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I dropped right as the 4th appeared. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There we go. Now I changed the direction that I'm pressing. I'm going towards the right, which is going to put me back in bounds. So we just have to wait. I think the timing on my power bombs were good enough. So now I'm going to let myself be killed by a few enemies, and we should respawn towards the end of the game if everything was done correctly. Just gonna wait a little bit, since we went so far out of bounds that now we need to get back in bounds. Here I am, and I'm gonna get myself killed by that waver. 1 HP! Oh no, I died. How unfortunate.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no!
What?
What is going on, chat? I don't understand. Oh, what? The whole way destroyed. What? Oh, everything is destroyed. Oh
What?
no, it's repaired again.
It's fixed. What?
It's the Sector 1 music. I don't understand. I'm in main deck.
What?
It's broken again. What the heck?
Who's breaking things?
Who's breaking and fixing things? Why is there an invisible enemy screaming?
It's Wreck-It Ralph and Fix-It Felix.
Where is my
Hidden.
ship? Rasu, what did you do with my ship? Time is coming up, by the way, as soon as the ship picked me up in 3, 2,
There it is.
1. Time.
And time. GG, very good run.
Very nice run. 15 minutes and 38 seconds. That's actually pretty solid. That's
Yeah.
37 seconds behind my PB, so that's quite solid. And that would be a 4th place time on the leaderboards.
Very high speed. Destructor is one of the best. And he gave us a very good run.
Well, so this memory corruption saves about 25 minutes on a more classic any percent run, which is it's not a very popular category. Very few people have actually done a run of it, and even less people have actually grinded it. So if you want to just know how it works more, you can just go on YouTube and go on Biospark's channel, just how it's pronounced, Biospark, and just you may as well just put Metroid Fusion memory corruption, and there is a very good video that Biospark made, which explains how it works. So yeah, that was Metroid Fusion 80% memory corruption, and we could wait for the credits to skip and everything to see the in-game time, but the in-game time in this category doesn't really matter for the very simple reason that it's just stuck to whatever time was on my in-game time when I saved back in Sector 1, since it's the save file that we used. In-game time is going to be at 6 or 7 minutes, I think 6. And since we cannot submit any in-game time or take in-game time into account because of the death I had, in-game time is completely irrelevant in this category. But yeah, it had its ups and its downs. Most specifically, that Sector 6 scare I got versus the SIX, but I made it through for a good run, so that was very fun.
I don't know if that was a down. That was exciting for me.
That was not so exciting for me, not gonna lie. That was
I
quite
was like,
scary.
woo, woo.
I don't even know how I survived that. Oh well, it happens. I totally had a way to back this up. 100%. Definitely. Just like I said, the stream is handled by professionals. Do not worry. So, yep. I think we're good to go. Thank you all for watching Game Over Cancer. And, yeah, for supporting this great cause. So, thanks a lot. That was Metroid Fusion.
Alright. Thank you, Destructor, for showing us how to break Metroid Fusion, basically. And thank you, Rosu, as well, for the commentary.
No problem.
So yeah, that was the any percent memory corruption run, but we're not done with Metroid Fusion just yet, because we'll be jumping back into the game after an admission where we will be seeing Noxious Nick show us the 100% category, which is more or less the opposite of what we've done today. Of what we've done here. Here we showed as little as possible, but we're gonna have 100% where we show as much as possible. So stick around, and we'll be back with you hopefully very soon.